Did your life turn out the way you planned? Hi, it's Jen here, the editor of Men's Psyche, talking today about when things do not turn out as you expected. So, change of expectations and life has not gone the way that you had hoped. So, dealing with disappointment and perhaps failure, and expectations, your expectations, and also those of others. So, this was the question we had from one of our readers. His life had not at all turned out as he wanted. It did not resemble what he had imagined as a young person. And so at the age of 32, he was dealing with disappointment, feelings of expectations, failure to meet expectations. So we had some reader responses here to help with this particular question. So the first one related to someone who had had the same problem and in fact had sought career counselling. Now, this is not necessarily an obvious thing to do at the age of 32 because sometimes career counselling can happen perhaps out of school, just out of school or during school, but not necessarily in what is often the middle of your career. So I thought this was a good answer to deal with something such as, it's not really midlife, of course, 32, but quarter life, disappointment, lack of meeting your desires or what you'd hoped your life to look like. Also undergoing a skills assessment. I mean, I don't know how many of you actually know what you're good at. You know, you like certain work, you might think that you're good at certain work, but there is a possibility that you have not actually had your skills assessed or even know what your skills are, the range of skills. There's hard skills, soft skills. So I think going to a career counsellor if things have not turned out the way you'd hoped is not a bad idea in terms of getting a bit of direction there. This second response was from someone who, in fact, said they did go in a different direction, not in terms of career counselling, but they decided to just shift their life slightly and get a new circle of friends, which of course is not easy to do, but that circle of friends was based around a new hobby that they started, which in this case was trekking or hiking, so mountain climbing, that sort of thing. So basically turning the life that they thought they were going to have into a completely different life that they had not imagined as a young person. So using it as an opportunity, I guess, which is certainly a very positive way to look at disappointment, which is as an opportunity to go for something you hadn't even conceived possible for yourself. So in this case, maybe climbing mountains and reaching, top peaks of, the top mountains around the world or something like that. Of course, you don't have to do something so energetic, but actually thinking of your life differently is a little bit more possible at the age of 32 from the standpoint that you've got a little bit more life experience. So thinking of possibilities is a little easier, I think, as you get older. Sometimes people feel limited by their age, but actually you do know a lot more about the world at this age. So when you're 20, 22, something like that, you don't actually know what's out there, what's possible, and it can be a little bit limiting. So if life has not turned out the way you'd hoped and you're dealing with disappointment from that failure to meet what you thought you were going to achieve by the age, in this instance, of 32, just shaking things up a little bit and finding, in this case, a hobby in a new circle of friends somewhat help this particular reader. I can just suggest too, for some people, this may be of help. This is relevant for people at any age, and if things have not turned out the way you hope, to conduct a mini life audit. And what I mean by that is do a little audit of where you are now and what you want to do. So don't worry so much about what you haven't managed to do right now, but at the time and place you are now, what skills have you got? Do a little audit of your skills, what resources you have, and what you'd like to do. Because you can assess why you didn't meet your needs, but that isn't necessarily that helpful. It could be a good thing that you didn't meet your expectations because your expectations may have been limited anyway. So it's not necessarily always a failure or a disappointment. So if you conduct a little mini life audit, something very easy to do, which is just quickly write down what you think you're good at, what resources you have at the moment, could be your skills, could be savings, money, it could be a good career, it could be accommodation, it could be knowledge, anything that you've got is a resource. And then write a little list of a new set of goals for yourself, because if you haven't met the expectation you had for yourself at the age of 32, it's possibly not that useful to keep going over a past idea of what you thought you could be, and have a little bit of a rethink about what you could actually be, which could be something much larger than you had imagined anyway. So interesting question this week, interesting topic. Life not turning out how you want. I think that's a very relatable question for many people, and it can relate to career, of course, relationships, health, finances, anything. It's a very relatable problem to a lot of people. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Please join us at menspsyche.com for more conversations, questions and answers. We hope to see you there.